it's your girl Ambra here, and welcome back to my channel. You guys, we're going to keep the series going. I did my top favorite matte foundations in a previous video, and you guys started hitting me over the head with what are my favorite primers, what are my favorite concealers, and so forth. So I'm just going to keep that theme going here. As you can see by the title, we're going to be talking about primers. We all know I'm oily combination, so what's important is the prep work before we start laying down some good old base. So if you're interested in what my top current favorite primers, that was an interesting pause there, then keep watching. All right, in no particular order, you guys, for those who have been following me for quite some time, know that I had a favorite primer, but since she has since been canceled, her and her fellow sistren, I have gravitated towards using newer and more oil decrease affecting primers. And those are the ones that we're going to talk about today. And I do have an honorable mention because although it is not a primer, I've been using it at this point for about a month now, and I'm feeling she kind of cute. She kind of cute. So we're definitely going to talk about that as well. So first up is my Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizing. It's a base mattifying primer. You guys, I have, as you all know, I have a tendency to get samples before I invest in a full size. And I purchased this from Sephora. You know those exit rows when you're about to cash out, and they have like all little samples. So I did get this in a smaller little, I think it was like $18 price for the smaller one, which was, in my opinion, a bit much. But I decided to test it on that level before investing the $30+ in the full size. Okay, why I chose this one over, say, like a Becca mattifying primer is because I feel like the Becca primer is just like spackle. Like, don't get me wrong, it is doing what it's intended to do, but I found when blending my foundations over top of something with that thick of a consistency, it was super patchy. My foundation was just stuck on the primer, but it wasn't moving around. So I needed something that was a little bit more malleable, but also created a great base and controlled the oils. And I really love the Makeup Forever for that. This is probably my second jar of this. A little bit goes a long way, and I don't use it all over the face. I do typically use it only in my T-zone area because those are the areas on my face that get the most oily, and plus I like a natural dew around the perimeter of my face, so that's relatively okay. I just don't like my nose, my forehead, and like the top parts of my cheek to really be shining like that. And I feel like the Makeup Forever primer is definitely one that puts all that to rest and at bay. As I mentioned in the intro, I have a honorable mention, and that is definitely the Estee Lauder Day Wear Matte Oil Control mattifying, what is this, like hydrating cream. I've been using this the past month just to see if it was going to help with any of my other base product before putting my foundation, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and I like to use it as a control so that I can test against other products to see if it's this or if it's the primers. And this was the only common denominator of the change in my morning routine when I'm prepping to put my makeup on. And this one right here, although not a primer, as a moisturizer, I absolutely love it. And again, it's the Estee Lauder Day Wear Matte, and it's oil controlling moisturizer, because even though we are oily girls, you still need to moisturize, because the whole point of your skin pushing out so much oil is because it's trying to moisturize naturally. But if you moisturize it with a cream or just a prep product, then it keeps that excess oil at bay. So I hope that's really clear in the purpose behind why we need to moisturize as an oily combo girl. Next up, she is budget friendly. I've talked about her. It's just been like a go-to for me for a very long time, and I know that there's other like higher end primers that are comparable to this, but why I gotta pay that higher end price? You feel me? And that is the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. This is probably my 5th or 6th jar of this. What I love about it is, thank you emergency responders. Thank you for that. What I love most about this is it's a silicone base, so it's really filling in my pores, which excrete a lot of those oils. So it allows me to have a very smooth foundation, preps the skin if I have any texture, to give it all one solid playing field. You know, so it's, you know, to each his own. You lay that down, you prep that skin, and then your foundation, in my opinion, sits on top of it with a very smooth, flawless finish. And I really, really love it because it's so economically priced. And in my opinion, it's a dupe for the Smashbox primer without the Smashbox quaint. Next is our friends over at Benefit Cosmetics. You guys, I absolutely love the Porefessional, and I'm gonna tell you why. In my opinion, it gives me best of both worlds. So whenever I don't want something so heavy like the Makeup Forever, i.e. the summertime, or if I need something that's a little bit thicker than the Pore Eraser, i.e. summer, because things start to kind of melt, I feel like the Porefessional plays really, really well in that transitional season. So it's not too cold, but it's not too hot. So like right in the middle. I find that this one not only fills the pores, but also gives you that smooth finish that has a little bit thicker consistency to keep the oil at bay. I've definitely gotten this one in a tester, invested in the full size. You all know that I'm a part of Benefit Club Pink. So anytime they send these things, girl, I got a backup for my backup for my backup. This is a really, really good primer, especially once I had to cancel my other primer. She's come out to play more frequently and has done exactly what I needed her to do. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited to talk about this primer. One, because a fellow beauty influencer friend of mine, Carla, she is on Instagram. I'll make sure to leave her information below. She lives and dies by this primer. And this is the Dermalogica Hydarblur primer. You guys, let's just talk about it. One, I love that this primer has benefits for skincare inclusive. So it's like an all-in-one. It's benefiting your skin, but it's also blurring out, you know, texture and pores and everything else these other primers do, except it has that benefit to your skincare. And that to me is like one and done. Like if you can tackle two things with one stone, honey, why not? I wonder if I can read a little bit. Yeah, so it blurs fine lines and pores, hydrate and brighten for a natural flawless skin. It's non-greasy, which I absolutely love, but it has complex ingredients to help provide like natural moisture to the skin. Like it's really, really hard to explain. I started using it, I would say a couple weeks ago, and I started to play around just with my normal routine to see if it was indeed the primer, was it my moisturizer. And I have to say, a lot of the areas on my face that I had hyperpigmentation, especially around the insets of my nose, underneath my eyes, I found like a lot of my primers were causing some of my concealers to lift and separate. But when I put this primer underneath the eye, not only is it keeping my concealer in place, but it's also hydrating, right? Because we don't really bake as much anymore, but we still need to set our concealer in place. Let's not play ourselves. And I find that putting this primer underneath the eye has really created like this great formulation so that I'm not getting that creasing and cracking after like a long day of wearing concealer. So I have to say that this is really dope. I really encourage you guys to check this one out. This is the Hydarblur primer by Dermalogica. And then last but not least, you guys, I just wanted to pull something out of my arsenal that I do use. I may not use it every single day, but I tend to use it more in the winter months. So that's why it was really important for me to include it in this video. And this is the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. What I love about it, the price. It's $6. The end. It's like, no, let me stop. What I love about it is that it's a great dupe for the Porefessional. In my opinion, I don't really feel the difference. I don't. I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing that I don't love about this primer, is that it blends really well into the skin, and you do get this soft, but it's a little too wet, if that makes any sense. Because the Porefessional, in my opinion, still has the same properties and consistency to a degree. This one's just a little bit thicker. Like, I don't need anything that's going to put moisture on top of moisture since I already have my moisturizer on, right? Like, she don't need no friends, no new friends. She doing what she doing. She isolated. She like to mind her own business. So she like to stay in her lane. So once I'm using my moisturizer, I don't need to put moisturizer on top of moisturizer on top of moisturizer. And I feel like the e.l.f. has too much water in the formula. That would be my only critique for this primer. But I love the price. I love that in the winter time, it's probably the best fit if you're looking for something that's cost effective. Because once you get closer to like the warmer summer months, she may clack out a little early. That's all I'm saying. She just may, try you. But that's it, you guys. These are my top 5 primers that I gravitate towards on a daily basis. There are some others that are out there, and I'd love for you to share with me. Of course, there's 1,000,001 different primers out there, but for me, with oily skin, someone who wears a full face every single day, okay, I love these primers. What am I wearing right now? Heavy rotation is my Makeup Forever and my Hydra Blur primer. I kind of go back and forth. When I wake up in the morning, I kind of assess what the day's going to be like, and then I make my primer choice. But those 2 are the ones that if I were to say, all right, which ones out of all the 5 that I've talked about today, I would suggest one of those 2. So if you guys have any questions, make sure that you comment below. If you like videos like this, which I know you do, because next up is Conceal is Honey. And I think that's just about it. Yeah. Until our next video. Mwah. Bye.